Hey, this is Bill. I am doing my inaugural video. Basically, I'm going to, on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, going to touch and base with YouTube, talk about some of my opinions on movies, TV, comics, video games, sports, you name it. I'll talk about it. A little bit about myself. I am 40 years old. Getting up there. I live in Ohio, Cincinnati area. I am a pretty big geek and a nerd. I don't have any reservations about discussing that. My wife could go into great detail talking about my nerdness. For you who are going to, the trolls out there who will immediately tell me that I'm fat and, whatever, my opinions are stupid, just so ahead of time, I just want to let you guys know, fuck you. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start. My first thing I wanted to talk about, since it just happened about a week ago, was the Disney acquisition of Star Wars. Now, I am not a big Disney fan. I don't watch the classics. I'm not a big Disney cartoon. I guess if I were to watch cartoon movies, it would be more along the lines of DreamWorks stuff. I'm just not. I mean, Toy Story was, Pixar and stuff like that. That's okay. I'm just not like a classic like Cinderella or Pinocchio or Aladdin or Lion King. I none of that stuff. I mean, I can recognize some of them are good, and it's just not my thing. I'm not a cutesy type of person. Just not a big cartoon person. Anyway, when I heard that Disney got them, I get a little worried because it just seems like Disney's buying up a ton of properties right now, and I guess I can't really complain too much because they did buy out Marvel. The Avengers was pretty good, and as far as I'm concerned, if I had to make a decision, I would much rather have Disney in charge of a new Star Wars trilogy than George Lucas. I think George Lucas has waved bye-bye to any kind of credibility as a director. The prequels that came out I guess it was about 14 years ago. I don't even know. Late 90s. They just were totally lacking in any kind of quality. I think one of the main problems, my whole issue with the prequels is, there's a lot of things, but basically, his dependency on technology nowadays kind of takes away from the realism of the movies. I know, like, I would much rather see guys in puppets and some real sets instead of, and even Ewoks. I mean, I don't really care and didn't have a big problem with Ewoks, but, I mean, when I'm watching a movie and I see a total background that is completely fake, and I know it's fake just by looking at it, I mean, it might be really top-notch CGI, but if I know it's completely fake, it just takes me out of the movie. When a good example of this is when he did the Indiana Jones, the latest Indiana Jones. Sure, that movie was doomed probably from the beginning, just because I don't think anybody really wants to see a 65-year-old Indiana Jones. He doesn't quite. I mean, it's just not as attractive as it was. But there were scenes in that movie that were just not needed to be CGI, and it seemed like he just is kind of a lazy filmmaker nowadays. He kind of relies on this technology. I think he wants to just be known as a pioneer of technology now. And there's a scene when at the very beginning of the movie where they're in front of an airport or an airplane hangar, and they're just sitting there, and you can tell in the background that it's a complete green screen, and it's like you can't rent out an airplane hangar for that scene. I mean, I know that portions of it were filmed in one, but then other scenes you could tell there was some green screen used. I just don't quite understand why he would do that. It just seems a little unnecessary. There was also a CGI gopher at the beginning, CGI monkeys in the movie. I mean, it's just campy stuff that just doesn't really appeal to today's audiences. That's one of my main problems with Lucas. So Disney taking over, I mean, The Avengers was great. They were great. It was a great movie. I, uh, as long as Disney doesn't get too cutesy with the Star Wars movies, I'm not asking for rated R versions of Star Wars. I know that they have to make money, and the way to make money is to make them PG-13. Um, but one thing I just want to make sure, I just really hope that George Lucas has no hand in any kind of dialogue or anything like that. He just has no ability to write dialogue. Um, my biggest problem with the prequels is they hired some pretty decent actors. They had Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson, and they just weren't given really good dialogue to work with. And Natalie Portman's a good actress. Even Hayden Christensen. I mean, obviously he gets made fun of a lot for being Anakin, and his career pretty much has gone in the shitter lately. But you just don't give these people a good. I don't know. It's just I couldn't understand some of the things that were said. They were just ridiculous. They're just dry. No emotion behind them. It just didn't work. And the whole damn trilogy didn't work for me. The third movie, by the time the third movie came around, I was pretty soured on it. But the third movie did redeem itself a little. It was a little bit better than the other two, but the first two movies, to me personally, unwatchable. I don't have any desire to see them. Now, if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, you want to watch the original trilogy again?" I'd have no problem. Now, if somebody came up to me and said, "Do you want to watch the prequels again?" No, fuck you. I don't want to watch them again. They're terrible. I just don't. And so, I think that the big question for the new Star Wars will be: will they try to recast the iconic roles? Even if I don't even know if they're going to use these roles from the original trilogy. But will they try to recast? I've heard some things lately about Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, even Harrison Ford saying that they would be open to reprising those roles. The problem I have with that is that Harrison Ford is 70 years old now, and if he's going to be a part of a trilogy, that means that he's going to be pushing 80 by the end of it, at least mid-70s. And do we really want Harrison Ford? I can understand possibly a cameo, maybe by Harrison Ford, but I mean, do we really want to see an aged, kind of haggard Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia? I mean, I know a lot of my friends grew up with a little crush on Carrie Fisher. I mean, she was okay, I guess, but do you really want to see her now? I just don't know. She's I don't know. She's crazy. She's got she's just not the same. And personally, if they want to do cameos, I would kind of wish they would concentrate on maybe new characters, because I just don't want to see a bunch of senior citizens in a new Star Wars. It's okay if they share the screen for 15, 20 minutes. That's great, but I really don't want to see a 75-year-old Harrison Ford going around the universe. It's just not my thing. I wish them all the luck. I don't know who they're going to choose as their director. I know that the guy who wrote Little Miss Sunshine is writing, which I like that movie. So I don't know how that translates into sci-fi, but I just hope they take their time with it. We don't need it rushed. I mean, the Star Wars universe now we're not worried about George Lucas dropping dead anymore. So, it doesn't matter how old he gets. Now that Disney holds the property, they can take their time with it, and that's what I hope they do. I hope they don't start mass producing it like Transformer movies and stuff like that. I think the thing they need to concentrate the most on is substance instead of style. I think that a lot of things with the Transformer movies and whatever other bullshit movies that have come out, Michael Bay crap that's come out lately, it's just too much nowadays about style and the look of movies. It's time to just take your time, write a good script, hire good actors, and that's it. All right. So basically, that's my take on the Star Wars, the new Star Wars things. I mean, ideally, I wouldn't want Disney, I guess. I don't want Disney to keep buying up all these properties, but as long as they're doing well with them, I mean, as long as like Marvel continues to put out quality movies, I guess I can tolerate it. But, so that, I guess that ends it for me and my first little rant or whatever you want to call it. I will definitely be on here more often, and I hope to see you guys next week.